Janice, how are you? Damon, how's it going? I have some partial good news that I will tell in a little bit. Newfie, how are you today? And if you have not done so, please hit that like button. That would be greatly appreciated. It's always appreciated when you hit the like button. So I was out taking care of some business. Oh, that sounds good, Damon. You know what? I'm not going to go that way because I'm not going to stand in that line. Vinit, how's it going? Hello, City of Peace. Yes, I did get tickets for... It's nighttime in your country right now? I did get some tickets for Maria while I was out. I do have my coffee. Did the chat freeze up? We got someone here who doesn't know how to drive. Hello, Sarah. Good morning, Pilo. How are you? Alright, I'm going to wait till there's about 20 people or so in here before I tell the potential good news. Well, my foot is not doing oh so good, but other than that, I'm fine. Well, Now you spoiled it, Sarah. No. Fuck. Somebody want to get rid of Z. Hello, Deborah. UK Dave, how are you? Veteran Scratcher, how's it going? Austin Scratcher, how's it going? Person in here. We still need a whole bunch of likes. Okay, Dave, my day is going okay. I had to do some errands while Maria's sleeping. Hello, Kathy. How are you? Winning Scratcher, how's it going? Alright. Here's the potential good news. Maria applied for a job within her company, and yes, even within the company they have to apply for jobs. And if she does get this job, it's going to require her to go to Japan for 6 months. That's okay, Winning Scratcher. As long as you hit the like button, that's all that matters to me. Now, Maria has my full faith and support. Yes, I would love to get rid of her for 6 months. I mean, it would be nice of her to go visit Japan for 6 months. At her company's expense. She has a passport, so she's good there. Alright, you be careful, Winning Scratcher. Yeah, you're probably right, Sarah. Believe me, the 6 months would go by quick. She would have to go to Japan for training. Yeah, you're right, Winning Scratcher. I think about the time Maria was getting back, Sarah would be close to having a baby. I want to stop here at this Exxon a minute. Because I want to get myself a ticket. I got tickets for Maria to scratch later on. All right, I'll be right out. Oh, Manilow, how's it going? Slot Soldier, how are you? Now, I'm just going to say, if I get a match, I'm going to let Maria scratch it off. But I don't have hopes for this ticket. And on the back, it starts off very poorly. I don't know, all those 50s, we got 50, 52, 55, and 57. That's not good. No teens, no low boys. 130, that's bumping uglies. No 54, no teens, no teens, no teens, no low boys. Wow. No 37, no teens, no teens, no 45, and no 24. No 51, we got 50 and 52. No 39, no 58, we got 57. No 44, and no 43. So we ain't looking too good here. No 9, no 36. No 22, we got 21. No 32, we got 33. And no 30. So this one is a loser. All right. Let's see. Hello, Oakley. Hello, Kiwi. So sorry to hear that, Manilow. Hope you feel better soon. What happened to Manilow? Are you hurting bad today? Ooh, it's starting to get hot outside. Hello, Mary. Yeah, so if you all didn't hear, Winning Scratcher kind of let the cat out of the bag that I got Sarah pregnant. In a body, but all is good. Well, I had to take a pain pill this morning. You know, when you tell Winning Scratcher to keep something to himself, you kind of trust he will. I know he was so excited. Yes, I am, Manilow. And see, how are you? Kiwi, you're in the bushes? Kubik, I am in Georgia. It is a southern state where you pay more for Georgia peaches than you do for California peaches. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, but Sarah's excited. I had to go to Winder to get gas today. Let me see here. Gas here is so much that they don't even put the sign up. And across the street it's $2.89. That's just amazing. Uh, there we go. All right. I do have a wicked side. By the way, I was talking about Maria. She applied for a job within her company, and we are hoping that she got it, or that she gets it. Not got it, that she gets it, because if she does get this job, it will require her to train in Japan for 6 months. So that would be an awesome time for Maria. She would get a trip to Japan and train for 6 months. Yes, Maria, and this is within her company, so, you know, it's not like she's going to leave her company. No, this is a job within her company. Tri-State. Yeah, we're hoping that she gets it. You know what? Because she would deserve something like that. And of course she said, well, I would be worried about you. Wink, wink. Absolutely, Manilow. All expenses paid, everything paid, food, lodging, transportation. A nice salary. While she makes good money now, it would be a huge step forward. Tri-State age is creeping up on us all. Not many of us baby boomers left. Maria, go back to sleep. Turn off my live and go back to sleep. You should not be awake. James Figueroa, how are you? I shipped out your honey today. And yes, if anybody needs any honey, we have 5 bottles still available. Yeah, I'm telling you, Manilow. Yeah, turn off my live and go to sleep. Well, I am 60 myself. Maria is 57. Winning Scratcher is around there. Yeah, that's right. Dream of Japan. And I told her if... And James is 65. I told her, I said, you know, you're going to have to brush up on your Japanese. You can start by saying, Konnichiwa. And you got sayonara down pretty pat. Then all she would have to do is get everything in between. Kiwi, you're 156 years young. Bless your heart. Are you still collecting Social Security? Minus 100. You outlived it. As you can see, I'm not in a hurry today. That's why I didn't pass this guy up. But I wish he'd stop stepping on his brakes when there's nobody in front of him. It says it's 72 degrees outside right now. Trust me, I think it's warmer than that. Well, it says 74, but you can always minus 2 degrees. Yeah, it does make me angry when there's no traffic in front of them. So, I was watching this Republican congressman from New York. Hello, Stewie. I was watching this Republican congressman from New York, Mike Lawler, and I was watching him do a town hall. Now, I felt he was doing great up until someone asked him, what are you going to do about the 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 7-year-old U.S. citizens that were deported? And one of them has stage 4 cancer and was shipped out of the country without any medicine, doctor, being able to see a doctor, or their lawyers, or their relatives. And the only thing he could say was, and I couldn't believe him saying that without knowing the facts, okay? He said, well, if they were deported, we'll have to get them back. Well, by the way, my neighbor here is having a new roof put on. I don't know why she didn't need it. And, well, the truth be told, they weren't deported, okay? The mother was illegal. Hello, Navy veteran. The mother was illegal, and the child, or the mothers, and the children they had were U.S. citizens. That doesn't make them exempt, but they're still ripe for deportation, but not the children, okay? And it's the mothers who make the decision to either keep their children here with relatives in the U.S. or take them with them when they're deported. So these mothers decided to take them with them while, being deported. Hello, Taz girl. And so the left brought up a narrative that these children were deported, okay, with no due process. All right. And I am fucking sick and tired of the left pushing these fucking narratives, and that our politicians don't even take the time to understand what the hell is going on. And I did the right thing. I figured, because, congressmen, they don't like to hear from you unless you're from their district, right? So I figured out a way how to bypass that and send him an email. And I explained to him what he did wrong. Now, I know that his town hall was very hostile because there's these groups that flood Republicans' town halls to cause chaos, okay? But still, you need to be prepared. Now, if I knew this, he should have known this. Okay? My goal is to see that every illegal is deported from this country. However you feel about it, that's your opinion. My opinion is they all have to go. If you want to come into this country, you come in the right way. If they have to deport you, you ain't gonna ever have a chance to come here. That's just the way it goes. But these Republicans better get on the ball. Know what the hell you're talking about before you answer some questions. Because all you're doing is feeding into their narrative. And it's a false narrative. But you're feeding into it. I don't know, is my chat stuck? I haven't seen it move in ages. Well, James Pocahontas does not care about the people here. I mean, first of all, she should have been charged, rightfully so, for lying about her nationality to get a grant for college, okay? Hello, Catherine. Hello, Jim64. But it seems like, you know, Republicans, they don't speak out about shit like that, okay? And, you know, the mainstream media isn't going to say a word. They could care less. Unless it's a Republican, okay? Just like all this bullshit, they're cutting Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. No, they're not doing that. What they're doing is they're getting the people off of Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security that don't belong, like illegals. Mike Scott, how are you? I gotta roll up my window because there's a nasty wasp right by my car. It's one of those where their legs hang. Now they're kind of upset because I tore down their bush that they like to go to. But hey. No, James, Maria was already awake, and I told her to go back to sleep. It's way too early for her to be up. Hello, full angle. Well, we know who did it. Joe Biden did it. He let 10, 12 million people into this country and said, oh, I can't fix the border without Congress. But yet Trump did it in 2 weeks. And then it's now all these illegals need due process. You know what? The fucking Democrats didn't give two shits about due process when they were in fucking office. Look at all those from January 6th who didn't get due process. You didn't hear them fucking screaming about it. Okay. But they got their due process when they got full pardons from Trump. And it was well deserved. Because there was no insurrection. I am a full believer in law and order. Okay? I am. Hang on, guys. I gotta try and get everything squared away. Alright, let me get inside. Oh. Looks like my son is awake because he moved his car. And I gotta have lights on in the house. Okay. Yeah, you're right, James. So I was watching this press conference earlier today. It was a very good press conference. I mean, Caroline Leavitt tells it like it is. Let me see what's going on with the Dow right now. Well, it's up 56. The NASDAQ and S&P are down right now. Not to worry. My stocks have been doing okay. And I know a lot of you aren't about politics, but every now and then I got to talk about it. Because it's important. It's important to know what's going on. You were probably right, Martin. And by the way, hello, 249 years is a joke. Government wins every year. The score is now 249-0. Yeah, you're right. And I have, it just blows my mind about these activist judges who believe that they can subvert the law to satisfy their own agenda. Well, judges are corrupt. Remember when those judges in Pennsylvania were selling kids? And they were getting kickbacks? And they were sentenced to prison, and Biden pardoned them. Tell me how corrupt that is. And our country let China steal our intellectual property, for what, like 20 years, 30 years? And you ain't ever going to stop them from doing it. And the worst thing is that our teachers don't want to educate our children. And, it's so sad. And that's why they can't get jobs, because they don't know anything. Now all they want to do is indoctrinate children. Yeah, James, I'm stumped by that. Okay? We have the best engineers here. And even in California, they spent billions and billions of dollars on that so called bullet train that they were supposed to be doing. And now they stopped because they ran out of money. Good morning, Dee. At least, I'm fortunate. The school that my son goes to, they actually teach the children. Okay? They make them take state tests that they need to take. Not like other states. Oh, you don't. We're not going to subject them to these state tests because they're racist. No, they're not racist. You just got to teach the children to know how to pass the tests. If they're not educated, then they ain't going to pass. So what? You're just going to pass them and move? That's it. You pass them and move on, and the fucking kids are stupid. Who's that, James? And see that one right there, where it says booed across America, Trump gets rude awakening at even more GOP town halls. No, when you're paying protesters to fill these town halls, they're only being booed by the... Hello, Q. How are you? She better be asleep, Deborah. Who, Caroline Levitt? Hello, Italy. Hello, Steve. Oh, okay, Steve. That's fine. Yeah, sometimes I forget when I'm under Maria's name. I say hello and everybody thinks it's Maria, but I have to right away switch. Steve, I saw a lot of people were killed in Vancouver. Oh, that's good, James. And my apologies, Steve. No, me, you're going to have to speak English. Otherwise, that's going to happen. Thank you, Kathy. Here, listen.
President Trump's borders are. Tom Homan facing reporters in the White House briefing room and also facing new questions after a weekend of ICE actions, including deporting a mother with young children. The children are U.S. citizens. Let me play what Tom Homan said just moments ago.
Caroline, if border crossings are at a record low, why should it still be considered an emergency?
It's because of what has happened in the last administration. We got to ensure that not 1 ounce of fentanyl comes across the border to kill Americans. The president has declared the cartels in Mexico a terrorist organization along with MS-13 TDA. They've killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. It's an emergency till we shut it down. It's an emergency till the cartels are wiped off the face of this earth. President Trump's committed to saving every life.
Yeah, Steve, and the first thing that I heard being said was that it wasn't a terrorist attack. That was the very first thing that I heard. And my response was, they just don't want to admit it was.
Now, I just mentioned gotaways 38 yesterday. Who are the gotaways? Where do they come from? We had over 2 million gotaways under Joe Biden's administration. Why did 2 million people pay more to get away? Or in the Biden administration, you pay a cartel this amount of money to cross the border. Cartel's job ends at the border. To turn yourself in a green uniform. Get released in 24 hours. Get a free airline ticket to the city of your choice. Get a free hotel room. Get 3 meals a day. Get free medical care. Get work authorization in 90 to 120 days, which is the real reason they came here. Why did 2 million people pay more to get away? Because they didn't want to be vetted. They didn't want to pay.
Civil rights groups say last week's deportations included 3 American children, all U.S. citizens. One of them is battling cancer. Let's go to CNN's Priscilla Alvarez. She's joining us from the White House right now. Priscilla, you were at that briefing. What did Tom Homan say this morning?
Well, Wolf, the White House is certainly highlighting the progress that they have made and say they have made along the U.S.-Mexico border, where the numbers have plummeted over recent months. But of course, as you just mentioned, all of this is happening against the backdrop of what we are learning about 3 U.S. citizen children who were sent back to Honduras with their mothers. Now, these are 2 separate cases. This is in both cases, according to court filings, these mothers have been going to routine ICE check-ins when they were detained and then later removed to Honduras. Now, when that occurred, when they were detained, they were given the option to be removed with their children, and they opted for that. But the attorneys in these cases say that there was very little time to make any decisions or have conversations with relatives. And so they are raising the alarm again about the lack of due process. Now, when I asked the White House border czar about this, he said again that this was the decision of the mothers. Take a listen.
If you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in this country legally, you put yourself in that position. You put your family in that position. What we did is remove children with their mothers who requested the children depart with them. This was a parental decision. Parenting 101. The mothers made that choice.
Now, if you recall, the White House border czar was asked about this before President Trump took office, in which he said that there wouldn't be family separation, rather the families would be removed together. Now, I did also ask about the number of deportations so far under this administration. He said there were 139.
Now, thank you, Kiwi. You have a good day. Now, let me just tell you this right now. See, before it was they were deported, okay? U.S. citizens deported. Now, the narrative is the mothers took them with them, but they didn't have no time to talk to their attorneys or family. That is bullshit, and I'll tell you why. Because one of the fathers demanded his child stay here. Hello, White Fang. But the mother took the child to Honduras anyway. So once their first false narrative falls apart, then they have to come up with another false narrative.
1,000. Now, that is slightly less than the Biden administration at the same time last year, but the difference being that there are far less border crossings, therefore less easy repatriations. Rather, the administration still moving forward and moving forward quickly when it comes to deportations of those who are arrested in the interior of the United States. Wolf.
All right, Priscilla, thank you.
Hello,
Priscilla
Tara.
Alvarez reporting for us. Appreciate it.
Over the weekend, ICE announced that the agency arrested nearly 800 people over 4 days with the help of state law enforcement officials in Florida. They're describing it as a, quote, massive multi-agency immigration enforcement crackdown. Joining us now, Executive Director of the Florida Immigrant Coalition, Tessa Pettit. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, what have you learned about these arrests that happened? Almost 1,000 people arrested over 4 days.
What we've learned from family members is that a lot of people who've been arrested are in limbo in our immigration system because the immigration system has a lot of flaws. Some folks have temporary status, and we've seen the data given by ICE that maybe 300 out of the 800 were actually had a final order of deportation. So, which means that
the other ones will appear before an immigration judge for a final deportation order. Nearly 800 illegals apprehended in 4 days over the weekend. 100 plus at a nightclub in Colorado, and the rest in Florida. Now, that's the way it should work. And 300 had final deportation orders? Great. They can be shipped the hell out of here right away. You're still fighting a head cold?
that most likely 2/3 of the folks who were arrested are people who are in some form of process and are certainly not criminals.
So you're saying about, most of the people that were arrested, because you said about 300 had actual deportation orders and, would be deported at some point in time, some of them going through the system. What can they do at this point? Once you're deported, it's over, correct?
Once people are deported, it's practically over. The system does provide legal avenues for folks, if they can prove that they were wrongly deported, to return into the United States. That is at a time when there was due process in our immigration system. We're hoping
There's that word, due process
a lot of
again.
people who were arrested are actually given due process before they are deported.
Is there any indication that there are U.S. citizens potentially that have been grabbed up
Here we go.
in this group of people? Because we have now seen that there were children that were deported and that there was a man who was in the country legally that was accidentally deported, according to the administration itself, and there's a battle over that in court. What do you know?
No, he was not in this country legally. He was not a U.S. citizen. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The fucking lies that they tell.
About the sort of legal status of some of these individuals.
Right now, we don't have any information about the legal status of these individuals. We've seen how ICE have made multiple errors because they are rushing through a process that actually, if done properly, would not treat people in such an inhumane way. We hope that they're not only not undocumented, not U.S. citizens in those that were picked up, but we also hope that everyone who was actually detained is given a chance to have access to a lawyer and to prove their right to be in this country.
I'm curious to get your take on...
And in reality, you are not entitled to a lawyer for immigration status. It's an administrative hearing, not a criminal hearing.
Hearing from the president when it comes to accidentally sending someone, deporting someone, or the fact that children who are U.S. citizens were deported, one of them having...
They weren't deported.
His response to The Atlantic in an interview that he has just done and that has just been published was, well, sometimes mistakes are made. What is your response to that?
I am from Haiti. I can tell you one thing. Once you start making it okay for one life to not matter, it quickly becomes everybody's habit for every life to stop having any form of value. I would warn America not to fall into that trap of being inhumane or dividing people based on their country of origin to decide whether or not they are worth a fight.
Thank you so much. And Sac Passe, Tessa Pettit, thank you. Appreciate you.
Senator, there was an op-ed that you wrote with some of your fellow members and members of the Massachusetts delegation. You actually went to visit the Tufts University graduate student who's been detained, apparently over an op-ed she wrote that was seen as pro-Palestinian in the Tufts newspaper. What did you learn during this visit?
Well, I learned that Rumeysa Ozturk was just abducted off the streets of Somerville, Massachusetts, where she was a graduate student at Tufts University, that she was moved then to New Hampshire, to Vermont, to Atlanta, and then out to the remotest parts of Louisiana, all the while being denied her ability to talk to her attorney, all of the while being chained or handcuffed during that journey. and all of the while not even being that you could see for her arrest. So all of this is a fundamental violation, first of all, of her First Amendment rights of free speech and freedom of the press, because she's charged with writing an op-ed in the Tufts University newspaper, and she's being denied Fifth Amendment rights of due process.
There we go. There's that
she
due
can
process
have
word
a lawyer
again.
So that she can know what she's being charged with. Thus far, no crime has been alleged that she has committed. There's no evidence which has been presented to anything that she has done wrong, and it's just a further extension of the unconstitutional, illegal, and undemocratic actions which Trump is engaging in. And she is in a prison with asthma that she has and not getting the full treatment.
Oh, don't give me that
It's
bullshit.
inadequate. They don't give the prisoners the blankets which they need when it's too cold at night. And all of this is part of a pattern of fundamental authoritarianism, which Trump is trying to engage in and make a part of our country. Every person, every American should be afraid. Should be afraid.
Why should every American be afraid?
Short circuit constitutional rights whenever he feels like.
Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
There is no American that's afraid.
Meanwhile, I'm here at the White House as President Trump is going to mark 100 days in office tomorrow. Today, he is highlighting his border agenda. Attorney General Pam Bondi is here now, and she has everything to do with the video you just saw in Colorado Springs. Ms. Attorney General, thanks so much for seeing me. My first time seeing you since you got the job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us what you were thinking about when we were watching that video seconds ago.
America is safer tonight thanks to Donald Trump. Last night, Brian, what they did, so to back up, during the Biden administration, they received 170 911 calls to that club alone. That club we were just watching, 170 calls. Wouldn't you think that would have been a red flag?
Wouldn't.
Nothing happened. Guns, shootings, ag batteries, nothing happened. So under Donald Trump, DEA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, ATF, ICE, everyone went in together. DEA led this investigation, went in, got 115 illegal immigrants, aliens in our country, arrested them, 2 with warrants, 12 guns seized. So what would happen in this club is you would go in, security would give you a menu of drugs, cocaine, there's something new called pink cocaine, meth, you could go in a bathroom stall, get that, there was prostitution, all these things going on. And we just now identified a member of Sinaloa cartel was also in there.
So that's really interesting because it's not a sanctuary city, right?
No.
Denver is, but Colorado Springs isn't. You look at this for the longest time. What is the downside of raiding that club during the Biden years? Like, what's the negative side of it? Do you prefer illegal drug use and illegal aliens?
And prostitution and the violence and the shootings and the guns that was happening in that club, and no one did anything after 170 911 calls. Yet President Trump immediately, that was a really dangerous operation too, and that's why there were 300 agents all working hand in hand, and that's what Donald Trump has done so well. All of our agencies work so well together. Went in there, got these bad guys out, 115 arrests, 12 guns off the streets, lots of drugs off the streets now, less prostitution as a result of it.
It's so interesting. I know Kellyanne Conway did a great job focusing on fentanyl when it started emerging as the plague that's killed our country and so many young people in the first term. But in terms of fentanyl, taking it off the streets, do you have a number there?
Yeah, and when I was state AG, I actually worked with
All right, I see most people don't care about what I'm listening to. So later on, you'll be able to watch Maria scratch some tickets. And I'm going to sign off, and I'll let everybody have a good day, and I'll see you later.